He got wet.
Hello, and welcome to another exciting Cooking with Unity, where we're going to be working on our Diablo clone known as Scape. And we're going to be playing around with some graphicsy stuff and probably some enemy behavior stuff today. Why are you staring at me?
And we're all here.
Yes, we're all here. All right. So, back to main screen. Or for the first time, something. I don't know. Unity. So,
Unity?
I couldn't help myself. I was working on this weekend. But not in a way that we're not going to be able to see stuff on the show. So, first of all, on Friday, was it? We did a slice shader thingy in Breakfast with Unity. And the reason I did it is because I wanted to try and create some cool looking enemies. So, Scape, we haven't talked about the theme of this game. I'm going to talk about it a little bit now. It's going to be... It's a Diablo clone in game development. In genre. But what it's going to be... Wait, I had that on. What? Do Not Disturb was on.
Not anymore, it's not.
So,
now it is, I mean, you know.
Yeah, so... What we're going to be doing is a cyberspace game. And it's going to be really abstract. It's going to be really, like, shiny, metallic, glowy stuff. And we want to do cool stuff. And basically, you're inside of a computer... I think what I want to do with it, we could have it where you're just an entity inside the machine. What I'd like to do, actually, is that you're actually a hacker that's connected in through some brain interface. And I want to do some cool, like, cyberpunk stuff where, like, one of the ideas I want to do that we may or may not actually be able to put in because of a multitude of reasons, but if I can detect the headphone activity on, like, iOS, I'm totally going to make it so that you can disconnect by pulling your headphones, so you can, like, simulate, like, pulling a data jack. And things like that.
What if you don't have your headphones in?
It'll be an option, first of all, so if you don't want that feature, you can turn it off, and if you don't have your headphones in, there will be a button. So,
okay.
So
a headphone button?
Yeah. Or it'll just be a pipe dream and we'll never actually do this, but I want to put it on the show, so I feel obligated. So, so I've got a couple of extra files in here, mostly shaders. So we did the slice shader on the show. This is the one that we did on the show. I also made a reflective version. And Fong trick, what is this one?
Tron/Geometry Wars/Res aesthetic?
Yes. You'll get to see the aesthetic very soon here. What the heck is the Fong trick? What's a Fong? I know what a Fong is, but why did I have one called a Fong trick?
Dip Fong?
Oh, I wasn't done with this one. So this was one I was trying to... Currently we have a slice shader that basically just slices things, like, vertically. And I was thinking about the old AT&T logo. 80s. I think it's this logo. Yeah. I was thinking about trying to figure out how to slice it so that the slices were actually based on the position of the light source.
Oh.
Which would be actually a pretty cool effect. And so we might play around with that at some point, but I didn't actually get done with that. I evidently didn't even remember I'd started on it. So I was like, what is that? So, I also have a translucent shader that I got from a website that we may use in certain places. This is a pretty sweet... it's based on a presentation DICE did on how their engine, Frostbite, handles subsurface scattering. And it's a very interesting little trick to do it. So, but here's what I did most of the work on was this enemy test.
I like DICE, like boom, boom, nat
so
20s.
This is an example of one of the enemy looks I was looking at doing. So this is currently using a couple of things here. First of all, this is Unity Pro. This is using a post-processing effect. The post-processing effect it's using is Sonic Ether. I've linked it in the comments. It is I think it's a $20 plugin. And we're going to be making it so this project can be played and viewed by you guys without either of those things. I can't distribute the Sonic Ether stuff, obviously, because that would be copyright infringement. So that's in a folder called Third Party on my local machine that is not synced to the to the GitHub server. So you don't have to worry about it accidentally getting this thing. But we're going to make a version that just works without the image effects too, so that you can still see all the rest of the project. Most of the stuff we're going to be doing in Pro is just image effects related, so you're not going to be missing a whole lot.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. How the light sources go outside of the geometry itself. That's really neat.
Yeah. So the other thing I was looking at here is when I was playing around with it, what this is the core is just. All I did was I created an octahedron in a 3D program, which was really easy. They had a button for octahedron in the program, and What this is it's actually 3 octahedrons. One of them is just a full one that I have in the inside that has the glow shader on it, and then 2 shell ones that have different clip offsets so that they can be spun independently.
And rotate the other.
And so they rotate counter rotation, so they kind of look cool. But while I was playing with it, I also noticed that we already have some really cool animations that we can create just by scaling geometry. For instance, one of the ones that we can do is if we wanted to have the enemy attack, we can actually scale up one of these things and then rotate it faster, and it would look like it's attacking. And if we wanted to make it blow up in a really spectacular fashion... What did that happen? Okay. If we wanted to blow up in a really spectacular fashion, we can actually take the core and we can just scale the Y up way high and do that for like a couple frames and then fade it out and blow it up or something, do a particle effect, and we can do some cool stuff with this. We also could do potentially, like if we have music scaling or something, we could have this thing like pulse based on audio or something, or just pulse in general. Something I wanted to do, but I actually couldn't find out how this weekend at least, was because I'm doing this full screen kind of dirt lens effect thing, and I kind of wanted to create instead of using a dirt lens thing, I wanted to make it just a noise pattern and have it actually change the pattern each frame so it looks like it's alive. But then also, I wanted to create a shader that would actually detect the color gamut and then send out an RF signal style thing, so like a glow sound to the glow effects. And so I didn't quite figure that out, but we might look into that later because I think that would be kind of cool to have. So this is what I worked on, and this is, as I said, it's very simple. It's just 3 things, and all these are is just they're using the slice shader that we had here, and so there's it's just I did add a few things to the slice shader. I added an offset, it didn't have this before, and I added a percentage, it didn't have that before. So we can actually like change the offset or change the amount that it fills in, and that also creates different effects too. There's a lot of different things we could do with these things. So
you said my name again.
I did.
Have it fill in if it's going into like a hardened defensive mode or something.
Yes,
just like Phil would do.
Yes, Phil fills in.
That sounds like something.
That's when
Phil
I go to a
do.
defensive position.
Wow, did I have that exactly right? How did I get that exactly right? All right, so let's go back to our main scene when we last left our episode.
Main scene, turn on.
So this is our main scene, and what we had working yesterday. When we had it working last week, what we had to do was we've got a shooty. I'm a spellcaster right now, so this is spellcaster simulation here. Now we don't have spells. Remember, this is a cyber game, so this is a what would we call the ranged class?
Spellcaster.
No, that's bad. That's not a good name for it. Raycaster.
Oh.
Yeah. Or just caster. I don't know. Or what you said. That was dumb. He's gonna cry.
I'm sorry, which thing of the dumb things that I said are you referring to?
I don't know.
I say so many of them that I'm not sure which
you
one
say so many of them,
to.
I just immediately get rid of them in my head. So I don't know which one it was. So
that's sad.
So yeah, we have this, and we have collision. We can actually move against the walls.
You're
we have
supposed to agree with
cool
me.
little solution that automatically pushes us away from the walls. If we press up, it goes to the up and the right because we're being pushed around. Code slinger.
That's what we got from the
code
comments.
slinger.
That's good.
I like
That's
that.
Awesome.
I like that a lot. Actually, I think I've heard that term before back in the Shadowrun days. Oh man. So what am I doing? So let's work on enemy behavior stuff because we kind of have an enemy that I worked on here, and so let's bring that enemy in the scene and see how he actually looks. Did I make a prefab for him? I think I did. Is he a he? I guess he's a he now.
I don't think it has a gender.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think this is like ice of some kind, some intrusion countermeasure thing. Yeah, we have a prefab for this. I'm going to just apply it though and make sure that it's all applied in. And then we're going to go into our test and bring in one of these dudes. Prefabs, enemy. Okay, well, enemy. Oh yes, I'm not in the scene view, that's why I couldn't do that. So where did this enemy end up? Probably inside the cube. It did. So I'm going to move this thing up to about 1. And it's not going to be glowy right now because we actually don't have that set up on the camera here, but I'm going to save the scene. I'm not going to worry about doing that just yet. So we've got this thing, it spins, and it just kind of sits there looking cool. So let's make it actually have some sort of stupid AI. We're going to make this a melee attack thing just because that animation looks like it'll work really well for that. And so this enemy is just going to run into you and then just start swinging. So let's first create the code that'll make this thing follow us. Create a C# script. Let's call this follow player. I guess I could just make it follow object, because then we could reuse it for other things. Follow object. Before I forget, rename it, reopen it, freak this thing out. Okay, cool. So follow object. And this thing is going to take a... I'm just going to set it up to go by tag at first, because we're going to use that as the first case. We might add just a direct reference thing later, but public string object tag equals, well, shouldn't equal anything. We'll just say object tag. And we will grab the object and store it in a private game object reference, because I can't just call it object because that's a reserved name. And an update what we're going to do is if object reference does or equals null, then we will grab the reference. So we're going to do object reference equals game object dot find game object with tag object tag. And then we can do our logic below. So this means that we will always have a reference, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually have this do the player. So we're going to tag the player so that we have that. And what else? So the player, where is his... oh yeah, the player's just right in the center there. Okay, that's fine. How high is the enemy when... Let's just put them on the same plane. We're just going to float the player for a little bit here, just for now. So where did the enemy go? It's at 1. We'll put the player at 1. Everything should still work. Just looks like we're floating. That's fine. That'll be fine for right now. So,
floating.
So all we're going to do is we're going to follow the player. Oh yeah, we're going to need a few more things here. So we're going to want object tag. We're going to want public float speed. And let's make that equal 1.0f. And what else do we need? That's probably all we need. So transform dot position plus equals plus equals object reference dot transform dot position minus not F11 minus transform dot position. Am I doing this in the wrong order? Probably. Dot normalized.
No, that's the right order.
Times time. Times speed. Times time dot delta time. We've done this type of thing before a lot, but basically what we're doing is this represents a vector between our object and the player. This normalizes it so it's 1 unit long, and then we multiply it to make it whatever size we want to. In this case, speed modified by time.delta time. So,
do we want to check object reference equal null again, or are we going to assume there's always going to be a game object with the correct tag in the scene?
Oh yes, else. That's what we want. So this won't actually run if there's not a correct tag in the scene. So let's go to the player. We're tagged as player. We're going to go to the enemy, and we're going to go follow object. And object tag is going to be player. And we're going to hit play, and in theory, it will follow us around. Yay! It's all working. That's exciting. Now, right now, it's not going to pay attention to our personal space very well, And it's also not going to pay attention to any collision at all because it's just going to be moving. It has the same problem that we had on the last episode before we changed that. So this says to me that my instinct last time, I think I've mentioned that I'm going to regret this, we put all of the collision stuff into the movement script for the player, which is move on axis input. So we're going to actually split this out into a separate script so we can use it on multiple things. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is this one. So, okay, move direction. How does this work? And is there a way we can actually split this out? Oh, no. Because this... Okay, we can't use it this exact technique. So...
Why can't we use it?
Well, if we were going to split this out, this kind of assumes that we have a theory on where we're going to go, and I kind of want to turn this into something that doesn't need to know where we're going to go and just tries to block us appropriately. But that's not going to work as this is written. Maybe I won't do that. Okay, so... Alright, we'll just duplicate the code for right now.
We could do it by keeping a vector 3 of the previous position, setting that each frame, and then creating a vector of the direction that the object traveled in that frame.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so just have like some additional.
So then it wouldn't matter what direction it's moving or any. I mean, it wouldn't need to know like a move direction or something.
The question: why
not? It would
not
be able to grab the direction that it moved based on the previous position and the new position.
Great, I love that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think I'm good with that.
What was the?
I don't know. Why not make the enemy rotate towards the player and just move forward using a rigid body add force?
Because I don't want to use rigid bodies for the enemies because it's completely excessive for this game. Yeah. We're not going to have much of a physical environment for this type of stuff. We might do some ragdoll or some enemy gib stuff that use physics, but there's really no reason to go hardcore into that. And there's a lot of things we have to fight the physics system on just because we don't care about impact at all.
No.
So, but yes, we could. That is another option, and that does get rid of some of the stuff that we'd have to do manually, which we're doing. But I like what Jeffrey said, and if I'm following correctly, basically the script that we're going to write is going to keep track of the previous position and the new position, and then use that delta to determine the length of the raycast. So that makes perfect sense. So let's do that. So we're going to create a new script called what should I call this? I'm going to call this wall collision is what I'm going to call it, even though it could probably be applied to a lot of different things. But I think that'll be that's an appropriate enough name for it at the very least.
If we had the collision work on enemies as well, then the enemies should slide off of each other.
Exactly. Actually, let's just call it
collision.
NPC collision.
Well, it's going to be for the player as well, isn't it? Mob collision.
What do you call it? Entity collision. Let's call it that.
Entity.
Yeah, entity is a good word for it.
I liked your idea of collision. That was actually came into my mind before you said it, which is really funny. It's like collision. Wait, no. So
great minds think alike.
I guess so. Excellent. I like that. So public entity collision. So we're going to have a lot of private stuff in here. So private vector 3. Last position.
Last known whereabouts.
Yes. And then that may be the only thing that we need here. And so I'm going to go ahead and grab this code because we're going to be using something very similar to it in here. We're going to put this in update, although we're going to actually put it into late update. What'll be nice about that is if we have multiple movements or if we have different scripts that are affecting movement or something, this will still kick in and work appropriately. So
right at the end. Excuse me.
No worries.
I'm very tired today.
So we've got raycast, we're doing transform to position, move direction, out hit. So move direction in this case is going to be, so let's do vector 3 move direction equals last position.
Transform.position. minus last position.
Oh, the other way. So transform.position minus last position. Did we normalize that on the other one? Oh, we did a lot of things on that. So, transformation, move direction, out hit, 1.0 F. Oh, we just hard-coded a distance? Wow, that's sloppy. Sloppy, Max. Very sloppy. We'll fix that in this. So this one used the whole thing. Do we need to know all this stuff in there? Yeah, we do need to know all this stuff in there. We're just going to copy this and put it in there, and then we're going to change it slightly. So instead of all of this dot normalized, it'll be this dot normalized. All right. Save. And what?
You forgot
Why do we want
semicolons.
speed and delta time?
Oh, we don't want any of that. Actually, do we even want it normalized? Yeah, we don't even care. Who cares? Yeah, that's fine. So move direction, and then we can actually use move direction dot magnitude here for the distance. And oh wait, no, we don't want that. We want some. We actually want a variable, public float. Should I go with radius? Yeah, radius equals 1.0 F or something. And then what we'll do is, so this radius would be just directly fit in to this component here. And then we will use that here as well. And we need layer mask, so we're going to do public layer mask. And then I'm just going to save and see what kind of errors we get, because we probably have a few more things to fix, and I'll get it quickly. So there's speed. So we don't want speed. We want to just so what is tangent times speed? So we want tangent times
We want the magnitude of move direction.
yeah. Move direction dot magnitude. Save. Okay, so now we're going to do a little leap of faith here. We're going to just delete all of this. Actually, we just do all of... What do we need? Transfer dot position plus equals move direction. So we need move direction, and we don't need much else of anything. So if we hit save,
We could just do transform dot position plus equals the move direction thing instead of putting it into a vector 3.
yeah, this is true. Might as well. Saves us on garbage collection, I guess.
You have 2 semicolons.
Sweet, double semicolons. That's like a party.
That doesn't even matter.
You're right, it doesn't.
I know.
It would add 1 nop, but I think we could live. So nop is no operation. It's an assembly term. Yeah. Move on axis input. Okay, so let's see if this works. So right now, if we just hit play, we should be able to pass through the walls unhindered, and we can. But if we apply entity collision to the player,
Let's make sure we set the
and
layer
let's
mask.
set, oh yeah, and actually it's set really badly. Let's make the default better. Equals -1.
What was it? Everything?
Yeah, -1 is everything. By default, it's 0, which is
Oh, it was
nothing,
nothing.
and that's a really bad thing as a default. So, but we are just going to do level collision. And actually, let's also do enemies. We don't have an enemy layer, but we're going to make one right now. So, player, level collision, and enemies. Now let's go ahead, while we're thinking about that, put this enemy on the enemies layer. Yes, change children. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, I just realized we don't have the collision at all on these
Let's
guys.
all say hi to Chloe/Tegan, so he's weirded out when he inevitably watches it later.
Hi, Chloe slash Tegan.
Hello.
All right, so I like that. I like a little bit of fan service like that.
Hello.
Now he'll definitely be weirded out.
So let's hit play and see if this works. So we hit play, and I'm not in the level anymore.
What happened?
Oh yeah, there's an important thing. We didn't ever set last position anywhere, so that's kind of important. So in start, we're going to set last position equals transform.position. And in our update loop, we're also going to have to set this after we're done with all of our junk.
Maybe we should compare last position to transformed up position and return if it's the same.
Oh, so we don't have to do it?
Well, otherwise we're going to create a direction of nothing, a zero vector.
Oh, yeah, good point. So,
and that might cause problems somewhere.
Yeah, if last position does not equal transform.position, then we do all of this junk.
It's
and actually this as well.
Maybe it's junk.
No, that should be everywhere.
Should it?
Because otherwise it's going to be equal in the first frame and we're never going to set a new one because we are outside.
Oh, yeah, good point. Good point. Save. Play. Maybe this will work this time. Ooh! Wait.
Are you hitting something and then, like...
I'm still managing to get through.
Yeah, you are.
But I am being deflected.
A little bit?
Yeah. Maybe it's because we're doing this in late update. We actually have to do it in update. No, that's not the only problem. This was working just fine before. Great.
We broke it.
We broke it. That's okay. So
things get broke a lot. It happens.
So if not physics raycast, tangent radius, layer mass equals tangent times move direction dot magnitude. This is actually not right, is it? What was it originally? Let's use version control.
Oh, what we need to do, we're allowing the initial position.
Actually, let's just use undo.
Wait, we need to go back.
Okay.
To the other script. Our movement script is allowing us to move into the collision, and this isn't
pushing us back out.
Yeah, so we need to actually use the previous position instead of transformed up position. Somewhere like here, it needs to be transformed up position equals previous position plus tangent times
last position
plus.
And same thing here, or does it matter here?
No,
it doesn't.
That should be last position also.
Should it? Well, why?
Because otherwise we're adding the move direction a second time to transformed up position.
Oh, good point. So this actually shouldn't be doing anything. This should do nothing. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Save. Not save as. Save. Alright. Play. That would explain why I was going double the speed, too. Yay.
Oh, that does make sense, actually. Yeah.
Okay, corners are a problem now, but... And that's because we're not...
That's because there's a slight gap in that corner.
No, it was actually working before on the corner, so...
Yeah, but we also weren't grinding against the wall quite like that.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, on the previous episode, like, there's not a gap on that corner.
Oh, wow.
Like, they're overlapped. There's serious collision on that corner.
There definitely is.
Alright, so...
Looks like once we get into the corner...
So we don't want move direction dot magnitude. We want just the move direction... We want move direction projected onto tangent. So vector 3 dot project move direction and tangent dot magnitude.
I think the problem is that the raycast is from transformed up position
Oh,
instead
yeah.
of last
You're
position.
right. You're right. That's also a problem. So let me actually, before we do all this... Actually, I think I do want to do this because it'll... Right now, our speed will be full speed going along the... maybe that's better. That's better for gameplay. It'll make you happy. I like moving fast. All right, so, yeah, we want to use last position and last position. Or do we want tangent transfer position as well?
Last position.
Last position.
Last position, are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Because this is the one where we're...
Yeah,
last
right.
position to position?
I think that's what caused us to go outside at the corner,
It's last position to position.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see if that solves our little problem. Boop. No, didn't. Certainly can't come back that way.
Does the enemy have the entity
The enemy doesn't
collision?
have the entity collision. Let's add that real quick just so that we can test two things at once now. Enemy, play. So if the enemy tries to get close to me...
Don't stand so close.
It's using everything right now. We didn't configure his colliders, but it should actually collide with anything and slide around it. And actually, does this thing have a collider?
It does.
Because we shoot it.
Yeah, it does have a collider.
It does. It's just grinding up right to the center of it.
Why, though?
There's no offset on the object itself.
Yeah, there is. Just
Is there?
1.0. Defaults to 1.
Yeah, that's true.
Why would it not work in that case, but working for the player and for... Does it work for the walls?
Works for the walls.
Works for the walls.
I bet it'll fit through that gap, too. If you
Yeah,
go
I'm
over
sure that it will fit through that gap. If I can get fit through that gap, I can fit through that gap, so... Yep.
Oh, it's weird
Is
how
our
it got through
collider
that gap.
Not in the...
Wait a minute.
I'm going to try adding the little thing I wanted to add last time. So instead of move direction.magnitude, we want vector 3 dot project move direction onto tangent.
And then you
dot
want that
magnitude.
to be the magnitude.
Let's see if this does anything better. Save, play.
So here's
no
something that I... What's going on with the radius? It seems like something's going on with the radius. Like, it's almost like they're fitting through one earlier than they should.
Well, it looked like it was fitting through exactly. So what's happening is when it has the two... as soon as it hits the second collider, that's when it starts fitting through. So that's definitely at the one radius thing there.
It's the radius? Wait.
So...
That's the only thing that we have as a variable that's a... I mean, if you change that radius, what happens? Can you change it, like, up it to a higher number?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure that it'll fit through what looks like an earlier time, so...
I know, but I'm interested to see what's going on with the other walls, too.
So you want that on the player or the enemy?
Either one.
Okay, I'll do the player.
Player's probably easier.
Yeah.
What's happening? Okay, I know what the problem is.
Let's...
In the other situations, we have to take the previous position to give the new direction that we're going. But we took out the else... so in the case where we're hitting with the walls, both walls, we don't revert back to the previous position on the transform.
Wait, okay.
Because normally we're overriding its new position from the previous script with the transform.position equals last position plus the update. But if we're not overriding it because it hit both walls, then we're leaving it at the new position that was given to it in the other script. So when it hits both of the walls, it's... So yeah, we need to add the else back in and set it back to last position.
But wouldn't that only be for the player?
That should affect both.
Oh, it should affect both?
Yay!
Yay!
So let's see if that works on the enemy. Let's make that enemy faster, jeez. One is too slow. Wait, that's the collision. Speed 6. Actually, now it's faster than the player. No! It's terrible! Get off of me! Get off of me! Haha! Caught you on... No!
Can we call that enemy
No!
Pepe? Let's call it a Pepe enemy.
Pepe? Why?
Like a Pepe Le Pew. Just can't get rid of it.
Can't get rid of it? Okay, sure. No, maybe. I'll consider it. I'll put it under consideration.
Pepe one of the Star Fox guys, like the rabbit or something?
That's Pepper. Or
That's
wait,
Pepper.
no. Yeah, it's Pepper, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
No.
No, it's not. It's It's Peppy.
Peppy,
Peppy.
yes. Sorry.
Peppy, yeah.
You should name it a Peppy.
I'm not naming it anything yet.
Name it a Le Pew.
No.
I'll go into version control and name it a Le Pew.
And I will totally ruin you. I don't know.
I will destroy you.
I just realized. So let's check in what we've got so far, because we've got some progress. And the other thing is I want to merge this stuff back into Master, because I've been actually working in a branch called Development. So, what are we doing? We're doing Scape. And we're going to commit this stuff. Actually, cancel. I want to make sure that everything's saved. Okay, good. Commit basic enemy movement, split out collision into separate script. Much success.
Very well.
So we're going to do that, and then I'm just going to quickly throw this into Master so that if people... Oh, I didn't put the link to the GitHub thing in the thing. It's on our GitHub. Go to github.com/pushypixels. You'll find it in there under Scape, but I'll put the link in the description later. So we're going to merge... No, we're going to...
Merge development
Yeah, so I'm going to
Master.
check out Master, and then I'm going to merge development into Master. Yeah, just do it, because it's like it's just a line. We don't have anything fancy going on at all. And then let's actually grab all that stuff that we submitted in there, paradoxically. Or wait, no, not grab. I needed to push it, I guess.
You can cancel it if you want to. You're
I don't
pulling
trust
it.
canceling. Okay, now I'm going to push. I actually do trust canceling a little bit. Not really. I don't know. When's version control? I like to make as little problems as we can. I'm going to stop giving AT&T like free advertising.
Yeah, I know, I ain't even down. Not down to clown.
They're going to see a very small spike in their user base
Are
now.
No, probably not.
What if... No, I'm not going to say anything bad. Like, I was just going to start saying all sorts of stuff,
Saying
and I
a
need
few
to
things.
not do it. Need to not do it.
So in this type of game, a melee class has to be slightly faster than our player. So our player speed is 6. Let's make them 6.5 for reals.
What, the enemies?
Yep.
Why do they have to be faster?
Well, because they're...
But
no,
then
they
I
don't
can't
have to
be
be.
OP.
Yeah. Okay, so 5.5. A little bit
Weak
slower.
enemies,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
strong enemies are always slower. Weak enemies are always faster.
That's true.
Why does it seem like it's moving way faster than it should be moving? It's not. Oh, it's just my imagination. Let's put it... Okay, let's do 4.5. Let's see what we can do. Make it,
Just for right now. I can always make it faster.
it's honestly pretty fast, honestly. I'm going to even make it slower.
Now I feel like my life is a sham.
Well, we're going to have a lot of these things.
I know.
So,
That's pretty good.
yeah,
For now,
I kind
at
of like
least.
that.
Should we make him destroy it on hit?
Yeah, let's go
Make it
ahead
into a
and
game?
do that. Save project. Let's make it so we can blow this thing up.
That's your answer to everything.
It is. It's such a glorious answer. So we currently already have a damaging option. So this will be a good chance to actually test that script. But right now we get the send message damage has no receiver, which we left in to remind us what we were doing on this episode. Also, this thing's having trouble with our bullets because it's actually colliding against everything. So let's quickly fix that before we forget. So this should actually be player, enemies, and walls.
Level collision, right?
Level collision, yep. So save scene, save project, apply, all that jazz. Just do it again, just for the fun of it. Oh, and there was a reason. So, save project. So let's look at this send message damage has no receiver. It brings us right to the script. So we have this on trigger collision, send message upward damage amount. Sweet. Let's go ahead and make it so that it does not care if it doesn't have the thing. So we're going to say message options. Send message options don't require receiver. So now we won't get that error. And now we have to actually do something on this. So let's create a C# script. I'm going to call it, I'm just going to call it HP. I'm going to use it for health on both enemies and players. Save.
Can we call it Lovecraft instead?
No.
HP
Oh, I do like HP Lovecraft. So class HP
Lovecraft. Public variable Lovecraft.
You're in the mood to name things really badly, aren't you? You were looking at your old project, weren't you?
No, my project actually has pretty good names.
Oh, okay.
It tells you exactly what they do.
You just like screwing up other people's projects with bad names. Okay.
No, I just like saying things that I think are funny.
Fair enough.
I mean, if I won't say anything that I think is funny.
I'm joking. So, public float float initial. I guess max health is probably better. Max health equals. Let's default that to 1.0f. And what are we doing? Public float max health.
Private float initial health.
Private float current health.
And private float
current health equals max health. And update. What are we gonna do? If current. Let's not do that in update. Yeah. Let's just do it on void damage. Float amount. Current health minus equals amount if current health is less than or equal to 0.0f. I'm going to call a function that we're going to define called death. Call it death. Void death.
Should just put like a print message right now.
So right now it's just going to be destroy game object.
Oh, it could just say dead.
We could do that too, but I'm not going to. I'll do it. Debug.log. I'm dead. And then.
That's how you know it happened.
That and it disappearing.
No, that's not necessarily means that it's gone.
All right, so we don't have to put this on things. So we're going to put this on the enemy, and then we're going to shoot the enemy, and it has no collider, so it's not going to work. So, yeah, our enemy has no collider still, and yet it still can collide because it's using raycast for its collision. So let's create a collider for it. We're just going to create a sphere collider.
Is this going to be a sphere collider? It's not going to be like a mesh collider or cube
Might as well
collider?
make it a sphere collider because it's the fastest collider you can use, and we really don't care that much, just that you shooting at it, so...
I want to make it...
We're going to make it smaller than that radius, don't worry.
Whatever radius the actual geometry is really all we're interested in, right?
Yep.
The geometry in the center.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to be shooting the top or bottom of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
So there we go, we got that, and I'm going to shoot it, and it went away. And it said, I'm dead! I'm dead! So
how much HP did it have? Like nothing?
It had 1. So let's actually try it with more than 1 HP. Let's give that a shot. Let's see what happens. Let's see if our systems work. So Inspector, we're going to give it max health of 10. We're going to hit play. We're going to shoot it. And that looks like about 10. And then the other thing I want to test is if we have the player, if we pump up their weapon, let's make it... oh wait, the sphere is in this thing. Damage amount, let's make the damage amount 10 and see if it takes 1 shot to kill it. Yay, everything seems to be working. Let's put that back to 1. Let's leave their health at, let's put their health at like 3 or something. So it feels like you have to do something. Especially with how fast we're firing. And we're going to have a bunch of them, but we'll see how this actually works. So the other thing we're going to want to do is, at some point we're going to want to actually show the damage over the players. So we'll add that in here. But let's work on a death for right now because I want to do that kind of cool explosion thing that I was showing earlier. So what we're going to do is... Maybe I don't want this all on HP, because maybe not everything will have all the same types of death stuff, so we should have this as a separate thing. Let's let's make it so that
we could have
a class.
Yeah.
And then a subclass. Yeah.
Yeah. Inheritance.
Yeah, I like that.
That way a script could just modify shaders, or another script could call up particles.
Yeah, something. Exactly. So we're going to make death some auto behavior, and all this is going to have is we're just going to have a public void die. I like that. Death.die.
That should be an abstract. Wait, what are the two?
Public abstract.
Is it abstract or the other one? One of them requires you to have that
It's
function
abstract.
in the child.
It's abstract that you want. The other one is virtual.
Virtual is the one that you can
wait.
do in death.
Wait.
One of them requires you have it in the
I've
child,
got them
and the other
confused
one-
now too. Hold on. Virtual versus abstract. C#. Yeah, abstract is completely abstract. So yeah, it's virtual that we want. Yeah, it can have no functionality. Actually, maybe we want abstract because we might not have any base functionality for death. Would we?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, there's no guarantee that there's a particular thing we're going to do in the death function, right?
Wait, which one are you saying that we should use?
I think we should use abstract because we're not going to define anything in death.
That's the one that requires you to have death in the children?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I was thinking we would use.
All right.
I'm not sure if you...
I don't know if I have to declare it like that.
Yeah, you have to declare it a different way. I don't remember how.
Oh, death has to be abstract as well. So public abstract class death. Can it even derive from mono behavior if it's abstract? It can. Sweet. All right. So that compiled. That's exciting. Look, it's a function declaration. I haven't seen one of those in years. In the old days, in like C++ and C and stuff, you actually have to declare your stuff before you use it later.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I just haven't seen one of those in a while. Save. No. What are we doing? Indie collision, damage. Okay, death. So what we're going to do is
Another script
in
that derives from
HP. Yeah. I was actually going to just clean this up first real quick. So we're going to call get component death dot die. So we save that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create another script. We're going to call this C# script. We're going to call this, I guess the enemy needs a name now. What did you want to call it? Pepe?
No, not really.
Oh, wait, what?
Let's call it melee octagon death. That's what I'm going to call it. We can name it something else later.
Pushy octagon.
Pushy octagon. I'm doing it.
Octopushy.
That's even better. Then it sounds like Sean Connery saying it. What is this octopushy? Pushy. Hello there, octopushy.
Okay.
We meet again.
It's time for the last time. All right. So
You're the man now, dog.
bringing back the 90s.
You're the man now, octopushy.
All right. So public. We're going to do a lot of things on this thing. So, okay, so this is not going to derive from behavior. It's going to derive from death. And it's going to require it to create a public override die.
Hey, it even had it for us.
Void die, right? Is that how it works? Or is it just... No, it's actually just
I think
public
it's
override
just
die.
die.
Sweet.
That's...
No, it
Oh,
filled
wow.
it in.
It
Okay.
voided for you.
That's kind of cool. All right. It wasn't being helpful when I was typing it right, but when I was typing it wrong, it was like, hey, we'll just fix that for you. All right. So, we're going to destroy game object. That's going to be a thing that we do.
Loki says
Let's see if that
ill-tempered
works.
octagon.
Ill-tempered octagon. I like it.
Yeah. Octopushy.
All right. So if we shoot at this thing, null reference exception.
I'm dead. I'm
HP
dead.
Death. Oh, that's because we didn't give it a death. So we're going to. So we can't. Actually, we probably can attach death to it, although that should never be allowed.
I'm not
We
sure if
shouldn't attach death to it.
Well, we can attach death to it, but I don't.
Oh,
I
it
think
doesn't. It doesn't. That's awesome. It prevents
okay.
us. Excellent. So
I was going to say we were going to get an error anyway because in that case, death was
pure
gonna
abstract.
have
Yeah. Exactly.
It wasn't going to find the die function.
Octo pushy death because we renamed it. Okay. All right. So this thing's following us around. Everything's happy. We shoot at it.
You didn't put the script on it.
I did. I totally did.
No, you had to rename Octopushy, the class.
Oh, you're right. Time to take a drink. All right. All right. Yay, it works. I'm going to get rid of the I'm dead here. We don't need that. We know. And let's actually check in what we've got so far. Death system initial implementation.
And health.
And health, I guess. So, well. I don't care about the health, I just care about the death.
A glass half empty kind of guy. I see.
No. Death is great. So... Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a death effect for this thing. So I'm going to have it set an animation trigger. I'm going to have it so we can animate something, and then I'm also going to have it spawn a particle effect. So let's do that as our tries here. So we're going to do public game object particle effect. I guess it doesn't have to be a particle effect. I could call it Gibbs like we usually do, but I'm not going to. We'll just call it particle effect.
Or Jibs.
And public.
Is it Jibs or Gibbs?
It's supposed to be
giblets?
Jibs. It's supposed to be Jibs.
Because giblets.
Yeah.
Giblets?
Yeah, exactly. But since GIF is actually GIF, I can really do whatever I want.
Giflets?
Yeah, we could call them GIFlets.
I don't even know what that means.
Those are
like
the little.
Is that like a Java applet? Giflet?
No,
What
like
is-
a little tiny animated GIF?
if it was JPEGlets, I would just say that it's the little artifacts around your pixels. but
What
like
is it
Oh,
that
you mean
GIF
everything.
stands for, though? General image file or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah.
So there is kind of meaning behind it being GIF.
graphics image format, I
Oh,
think.
it's graphics,
Yeah,
so it should be
it's
GIF.
graphics image
Okay.
format.
I thought
yeah.
it was interchange format or something.
graphics
like
interchange
that.
format. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Graphics interchange format. So it should be
So it
GIF
should be GIF, yeah.
But he said it was GIF.
instead of giraffics.
But I didn't come up with Gib, so I guess I can't rename it. But the thing is, the reason I call it Gib, okay, full disclosure. There was a time when there was not internet. I know, it's crazy. More importantly, there was a time when internet, even when it was around, was all text-based. Like, there was no videos, there was no audio, you couldn't download a thing. So the thing is, I heard this term initially from magazines describing people blowing up. And so I read it as Gib. And so I just kind of stuck with me like that way.
That's the same deal with me. I didn't know how to pronounce GIF when I was a little kid, like seeing a GIF file. All I know is they were moving images on the internet, and that was amazing.
Well,
and they were animated.
My thing was, I was doing web stuff when I was 14, and I actually liked calling it GIF because it was much different than JPEG, which has a J in it. I didn't want to confuse the J with the G.
It makes sense.
And
no one wants to confuse the J with the G.
Exactly. So, public geometry particle effect, public animation. So it's public string animation trigger. And so what we're going to do is if animation, we don't have to check if. We'll just assume that it needs to be there. So we need to get the animator. So let's go public void start. I guess just void start would be sufficient. We're going to do, what is it called? Public or private animator.
Why grab the animator there when this is only for death?
Why grab it here when this is only for death? Because we need to change something on it. Why? When should we not grab it?
We need to change it in die, which is only going to happen once when the object is dying. So we don't need to keep a copy of the animator.
Okay, fine. You're right. We don't. Animator equals get component in children. I guess I don't even have to store it. Get component in children. Animator dot set trigger animation trigger. And then we are going to do instantiate particle effect transform dot position transform dot rotation. Just in case we have a fountainy type particle, which I think I'm going to do. So let's do that.
Fountainy?
Fountainy, yes.
Nice.
And so what are we doing now? So we need a particle effect, we need an animation trigger, which means this thing needs an animation. So I'm going to create a death animation for it real quick. We're going to hit record, and that'll help us here. And I'm going to create a new folder called animations, and we're just going to put this in here. We're going to call it, what do we call this thing? Octo... Pushy.
Yep.
Death animation.
These words are just getting longer and longer.
Yes, they are. They do that. All right, so we have this enemy thing, which I guess we'll have to rename that later, but whatever. So we have this. We're going to record an animation, and the animation is going to be. I'm going to have it for 1 frame. Bring the. Oops, that's the wrong thing.
I feel like the two shells should like tilt in different directions and like fall sideways into the center, which will launch upward,
like
you
fall in
showed.
and
Yeah.
then explode or something.
Like
Just
they
like kind
of get unstable and hit the center, and then the center explodes.
Yeah, the
something.
center then blows up. That's kind of cool. That would probably take a little while to implement.
It would take a little bit longer, not a whole lot longer. I kind of want to do that, but let's just get the basics of the effect
sounds
first.
really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That does sound really
I like the fact that the idea that it's tilting into itself and then exploding because of it. I actually really like that.
Collides with the core.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just do the core explosion portion of it, but let's keep that in mind for when we're working on this.
We should write a note in there.
I'm going to
somewhere.
actually do a shrink first.
Watch the episode later. We'll write a note saying watch the episode later because we had an idea in there.
Hey, wait, that's like Bill and Ted.
So I did a 1 frame shrink just so that there's and I'm going to hold it for like 2 frames. 3 frames. No. We'll hold it for...
Should hold it for a little
1
while.
frame. No, because this is like a... We'll hold the longer one for a little while. So now we're going to make it go like mega big.
Holy moly.
That's enough.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So we'll go 15 even, just make it even.
Why don't you just go 10?
No, because I want this to go wild. I want this to be like really flashy. I don't know. We'll probably make it lamer later, but
Hey,
We should leave
I didn't say it was going to be lame.
not lame. You know what I mean.
We should leave a singed decal on the ground where
That
it
would be
dies.
sweet.
That's another good idea to put in there. So at the end here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, so we do 1 frame where it goes smaller, 1 frame where it goes real big, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to just take a quarter of a second, I'm just going to go 15 frames in, and we're going to make it so that it fades the, why is the X and the Z different? It shouldn't be.
Yeah, that seems like bad news.
We'll just make that one 3. Okay, well we're going to make this 0 and 0.
A text file dropped in the project folder might be a good place for ideas to be implemented later. I agree with
Yes. Okay, so now we got to fix what it's doing here. So first of all, in this frame, we want this to be 0.33 and 0.33. Is that the one we decided on, or do we do 0.5? And we're going to have to fix our things here a little bit. Our curves are a little bit naughty.
Yeah.
So,
Naughty curves. Naughty curves.
so what are we doing?
Dealing with those naughty curves.
On the octopushy.
Yeah, those octopushy curves.
So you can see how this kind of jumps up and then fades out.
Yeah, I
so
think
that's
cool.
going to work. Oh, I see. It's because of the core, it's the scale thing that we're changing. So it's 33. We want to go. So really, this should be 15 here, and this should stay at 15. But for some reason, it's not. And this first frame we want 33, and this second frame we want 33 as well. So the problem is we have some curve issues. So let's just do this real quick. We're going to make these linear. We're just going to say flat, and how does that look now? So if we scan through, we get the height goes up, and then independently these things go down. Yeah, perfect.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's perfect.
Yeah, where it just like has a big beam and then it
Yeah.
just gets thinner.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that. Can you make it have a cross?
We will consider having an Ava explosion in here. That is
Blood
kind of
explosion.
So what was funny is like I'm going to
explosion.
tell you like the only reason I thought of this as an animation, like the honest truth is it wasn't inspired by Ava, it wasn't inspired by any of the explosions. It was literally when I was in enemy test, I was just looking at the cool effect in the thing. And I was tweaking the core. Like originally I had the core and the outside at the same rate so I could kind of create like this glow effect on it. And then I made it smaller. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then when I was playing with the scale, I just somehow added like a 9 in here. And I'm like, oh, I'm using that.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think that's awesome. I do like the idea of a blood explosion.
Me too. I love blood explosions.
Yeah, I do too.
So, but yeah. So we're going to do that. We're going to, so we got that. We're going to go over time a little bit. Is that okay with both of you guys? So,
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, is it okay with everyone out there? Yeah, I'm sure it is. So,
We'll find out in 5 minutes.
I don't
when
care,
we're over
actually.
time.
I don't even care. So, if you guys are sick of the show, you can turn off the show. So,
Hey, don't turn off the show.
don't turn that dial. So, no one has a
If
dial
you're sick
anymore.
of
No
the
one
show, get 5 other
Hey.
friends to watch it in your place.
You know, depending on if you're on a Mac or a PC, keep those fingers away from the Command or Control Q/W keys. That's right. I said don't close your browsers.
So, we're going to
It's
go
kind of
into
like
enemy.
don't touch that dial.
We're going to create a new state.
I like that, yeah.
We're
Don't
going
you
to
like
make this
that?
the default state. We're going to make it transition to that. We're going to add a parameter trigger. The trigger is going to be called death. And on death, we transition. And transition duration, we're just doing it. All right,
This
so
is called Scape, right?
this is called Scape.
Okay, I'm going
We
to
need-
download the repository real quick.
Excellent.
Where is game object destroy? That needs to happen after the animation.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, let's get fancy. No, let's not get fancy. We don't know that stuff. So let's do. So I guess we'll destroy it. When? I guess we could do an animation event to destroy it. Kind of hate that, but
Can we get the duration of that part of the animation?
I was
Animated
just
with that?
thinking that. That was the thing that I kind of threw away. That I was just talking aimlessly. We could do that. We could get the transition. We could get the next thing in the. It's the animator is a pain in the ass to actually grab things from until it goes to the next state, and I don't know if it will be in the next state in the current frame if we start the animation.
So we could call a coroutine from this and do the get component set trigger and then yield return null and then grab it on the next frame.
Yeah, we
And
could do
then
that.
do a yield return, wait for seconds of the duration of that animation.
Or we
and
could
then do
start a
destroy.
coroutine and just check to see if we're.
If it's animating.
Coroutining?
Yeah, we could do that. Start a coroutine.
But
see
no,
if
it still
the
might.
animator's
It'll still say that it's animating because it'll go to a different. Oh wait, no, it won't go into a different state. We're not going into a different state. We're going to make sure this is not a looping animation. Yeah, let's try that. Let's see if that'll work. So.
And yes, the enemy
Start
does look like
coroutine.
Ramiel a little bit from
Yes.
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
It's hard to not look like Ramiel when
you are
Ramiel
dealing
is a
with an octahedron.
octahedron, yeah. So,
I don't know. In the remakes, it is pretty cool what it does.
So,
it goes into all sorts of weird shapes.
Enumerator,
Neat.
check animation done.
Man, I like Evangelion.
And we'll just do check animation done and yield
Wow.
while animator. Wait, sorry. So now all of a sudden,
Now we should.
now it looked so good doing what I was doing before. So no, okay, I'm kidding. I'm not sour at all. So get component children.
Just a little bitter.
Or we could pass it to the coroutine. That way we don't have it the entire lifetime.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Animator. Animator equals get component children. Animator. Actually, just get component will be sufficient. And why was I doing it with in children before? It doesn't matter. Animator set trigger animation trigger while animator dot is no. Oh, maybe they don't
I've
have
been playing.
play.
Animator dot.
There's
animation.
no is playing.
Is there an animator dot animation?
Dot animation dot is playing. Perfect.
Ah, there we are. I was shocked when I could. There was no is playing there. I was like, wait a minute.
And
Seems like something that should
destroy
totally
game
be there.
object. Save. All right.
Is it safe?
So I'm not sure. So we need to do a couple more things. So we're gonna do enemy.
Animator on the.
We need to put. So we already have the animator, but we need to put this script on it. It's called. Oh wait, no, it's already on the script. Animation trigger is death, and particle effect is. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and make.
Have we made a particle effect yet?
Equals death. No, we haven't.
Sweet.
So I'm just going to have it spawn a
That's not a
sphere.
string.
You're right, it's not. So animation trigger death. I'm going to apply this to our enemy real quick. We're going to. I'm just going to give it a sphere just so that we have something spawning, and
It's a
we're going to hit
full
play.
Have it spawn.
Oh, it played the
another
animation, but then it didn't die.
No, it did not.
There's no
Missing
animation
component.
attached to the enemy game object. Oh, that's not. That's an accessor. That's like saying dot transform or
Oh.
something. So that doesn't actually give us anything. Dot. I'm gonna try the one that looked like it was promising.
Is there just a playing?
No, there's not.
That's what we're
Dot
looking
play. We've got playback time though, so let's use that. Playback time is less than 1.0 f. I'm assuming this is a normalized playback time. Hopefully it is.
I guess we'll find
We'll
out.
find out.
It's a lot of red text.
Yep. Can't get playback time when not in playback
You must
mode.
call start playback before you can get the playback.
So can we check the mode?
Yeah.
Animator dot mode.
That's a good clue. Dot mode. No.
Update mode equals. See what's in it.
Equals. Animator update mode. Dot normal unscaled time or animate physics. That's not what it is. Wait, not in playback mode. All right, let's check the internet.
That's what I'm
Unity.
doing right now. It says animator.play.
Yeah, but how do you tell if it is playing?
That's what I'm
Unity.
looking for.
Tell if animator is playing. Get current animator state info 0. That's kind of a bad way.
So what is animation the accessor for?
What was that?
What is animation the accessor for?
Well, right now I could do animation dot whatever, and it gets me an animation if it's attached to my thing. Animators are different, and animators were added later, and they didn't have an
okay.
accessor added. So,
They're two different.
yeah. It's like saying dot game object or dot transform on the thing. It just gives you that thing. Like you can go transform dot transform dot transform dot transform dot transform, and you will get a transform. There's no reason to do that, but you can do that. So, layer number is the index. This is so
Yeah, it says
hacky.
animator.get current state info is name
Normalized
state
time.
name.
There we go. This will be fine. And not animator dot is in transition. What's wrong with that? No one liked this one? I like this one.
What about this? Animator.get current state info.isName.
Yeah, you can do that, but it's hacky. We have to
Yeah.
give it the state name. We have to know the state name for the thing. We have to add another state name into the
I see what
strings
you're
and
saying.
stuff. It's
Yeah,
just
Well, try that one. And
Yeah, I
then
like
if
this
it
one.
works, give him a thumbs up.
yeah. I'm going to, because that looks like the better check. So, animator dot get current animation info 0 normalized time is greater than or equal to 1.0f. File save.
So that is theoretically, if it's done playing, that
Yeah.
should happen.
Looked like it worked. Although it didn't animate. No, it didn't work.
It did not animate at all.
All right.
So it did produce a sphere that flew up.
So this is because our new animation state has not been set yet because of the aforementioned problem that we were talking about before, which was check our current state and then do something with it. But we don't have our current state because it hasn't changed until the next frame. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do the hack that you just suggested earlier. You'll return null first. Then it'll probably be ready. Maybe this will work. Play. Didn't work. Just for the fun of it.
And then I suggest adding a debug log for the normalized time to see if maybe we're entering the wrong.
What just happened there?
You tried to open a new project.
Well, it did part of an animation there, but it definitely didn't do the whole thing, so... Did about 4 frames.
Debug log the current animator state info 0 dot normalized time. Or wait, let's figure out what else we have. What dot?
Dot.
Is there a name or
Length,
something?
loop, normalized time, tag, hash, toString.
Try toString and see what it actually prints.
It's probably just going to print it's an animator. I'll do it. Let's do it. Dot toString. Oh, it's probably not going to print that even once. Oh, it did. It printed once. It was immediately at 1.05. And it's because it's probably in the transition still. There was another thing that this guy was checking. Maybe this is... Animator is in transition 0. Yeah, let's actually add that. That looks promising. Let's see if this works.
Should it be less than 1? I don't know. I'm just reading. Chat.
Yes. Yes. But we still may need this. I'm just going to try it first, just for the fun of it.
But it started at greater than 1.
Yeah, you're right, but yeah. Though it totally just worked. Well, that was our problem.
Yeah.
So, why didn't it look like it created a ball? Oh, it did.
Did
Okay,
it just
good.
flew up that
Wait,
way?
But it didn't work
It
right
didn't
that time.
animate that time, no. So we probably do need to do.
Yeah,
a
let's do that
check.
second check. Ah. Save. Play. No. Oh, animator.
capital yeah.
Yeah. Save. Play. Looking good so far. All right, I'm just going to pretend that that's going to work every time, and then if it doesn't, we'll try and fix more of it later. But let's just get that particle. Well, we've got the beam going up. Let's actually quickly switch the. So I'm going to go to the camera. We're just going to wrap up this episode real quick. So first I'm going to put the Sonic Ether stuff on this so that we can see how cool it looks. Then I'm going to make a version of this level that doesn't use any of the Sonic Ether stuff and a version of the enemy that doesn't use any of the Sonic Ether stuff so that people can work without it. So so we're going to do add component SE natural blue and dirty lens. We're going to set the camera to HDR. And we're going to give this one of these, I think I liked 14 a lot. Or was it 15? It was 15. I liked a lot. And I think I put the bloom on like 1 and the lens dirt on like 7. And let's see how that looks in the game real quick. Not very bright, is it? Hold on. That's more bright. So let's see how the enemy looks on the core. No, let's just work on the camera. So let's set this to 4, 3. There we go. And so if we hit play and we shoot this thing till it dies, and it didn't work. Great. I'm going to shoot it till it dies, and it again didn't. Now it's not going to work every time. There we go. Looked cool for a moment.
Yay!
So this didn't fix our problem.
Cool. Oh.
Maybe
Boo.
we can do a yield return null this time.
Yeah, maybe this will work now. Save. I'm going to leave the other thing in there just in case it does help. That worked 1.
Maybe we needed the
out of
other
1.
thing, but we also need... So maybe it
2 out of
takes
2.
a frame before it goes into the transition, and then we still need that to check the transition.
Yeah, I think that's actually what happened. Although sometimes it goes on the same frame, which doesn't surprise me, actually. The animation stuff always likes to be fun in games for some reason. So, eventually the floor is probably going to be some sort of semi-transparent thing so we can see the beam going down too, and that'll make it look even cooler. Let's just save... And as I said, I'm going to make a version of this that doesn't require this stuff. So we're going to go... I'm going to actually finally name our enemy. I'm going to name it Octopushy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call it Octopushy SE is what we're going to call it.
Does Unity have... Or does C# have do-while loops?
I don't think it does.
Because that's a little bit less hacky.
Yeah, I don't think it does, though. Maybe it does. I don't know. I haven't looked. We're going to save this. We're going to save project. I'm going to apply this to the prefab. We're going to now duplicate this level. We're going to call it, what is it called? Test. Let's actually give it a real name.
So there's a slow the animation down possibly, or halt it while it dies. That's one of the things.
Yeah. So test.
Chasing while dying is kind of odd, but
We're going to call this...
I think it makes sense with this one.
Test SE, and then we're going to duplicate it. Save all, and we're just going to call this test. Actually, I'm going to be more specific. Test SE Sonic Ether required.
I feel like we should put splash damage on them when they die, so if you're too close
Yeah,
to
that would
them,
be cool.
then-
So it hurts you and also the other enemies, though, create
Yeah.
like chain reactions and stuff. Yeah. All right, so we're going to save all, and
But for
so
a melee character, it
we're
will
now going
probably
to duplicate Octopushy SE. We're going to call this Octopushy. We're going to change the shader that it uses for its core. We're just going to turn it into standard particles additive. It's not a particle, but we can still use that effect. And then we're going to use this in the scene instead of the other one. I'm just going to copy the... Oh, sorry, in the same position anyway, so that's perfect. So we're going to delete this from the scene. And on the main camera, we're going to remove the SE Natural Bloom stuff. I'm just going to keep HDR enabled because it doesn't really matter. Save scene, save all, save project. Let's make sure that it still works. Yay, it still works. And let's call that a day. That was a long one. So let's just go right to the face. Thank you very much for joining us. That was a great episode. I actually really liked that one. Hopefully you enjoy where we're going with this thing, and we'll have more enemies and cool stuff later. Obviously, things are still simplified right now. Like, the enemy has hit points, but in the future, the enemy is going to have a level system. We're going to enemies have to be able to scale with you and change with different things, and we're going to have a whole bunch of different stats and stuff. It's very basic still, but we're moving into it.
I need to have an experience reward too.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of little details that have to go into this. So thank you very much for joining us. If you have any questions, please email me, pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet us at Drakfire. That's DRAKFYRE. You should buy Phil's game, Robot Alone.
Yep.
I've heard that he opened up the code again recently, so
I did.
does that mean that maybe...
That doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean
that just
anything.
means
Okay.
it's in source
All right.
control now.
Sweet, congratulations.
Which is good.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Twitter if you want to. That's at Magmalemur. It's at MAGMALEMUR. You should buy my game. Watch some videos. I don't know. But you know what you should really do? You know what you should really do?
What should I do?
What should you do?
What should I do?
You should donate to yourself on Patreon.
That seems inefficient. I think
I
they
know!
take a percentage. All right, well, I'm going to try it. It'll be the first donation I've gotten this week.
Yay! Yay!
Beat me to it. All right. Anyway, you guys have a great one, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning, and Wednesday morning, and Thursday morning, and then we'll catch you on Thursday with more of this. So, yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff always. Have a great one. Have a great night.
We'll see you later.
See you later.